I'm Dennis Anderson along with Julie Zenner, and here's what's coming up on Almanac North.
The next 2 Saturdays will be busy for activists marching in support of causes they believe in. We'll talk about the March for Science and the Climate March.
Well, UMD's Alworth Planetarium is hosting Astronomy Day on Saturday, a chance for the public to get up close and personal with the night sky.
And we'll have the week's top business stories and dig into the archives for a news file story from 25 years ago.
So don't go away. Almanac North coming up next. Hello again and welcome to Almanac North. Thank you very much for watching. And Julie, as the days get a bit warmer, we are seeing more and more activities on the weekends.
Yeah, a couple that we're going to be talking about tonight.
In fact, our first guests will be marching on the next 2 Saturdays.
That's right. We'll get to it. Duluth Leif Erikson Park will be the starting point of 2 different events the next 2 Saturdays. This Saturday, people will gather for the nonpartisan March for Science, one of more than 400 planned around the country. Then the following Saturday, April 29th, the park will again serve as the starting point for the 3rd annual Climate March. We're here to talk about these events is Alex Steiner, a geologist and co-organizer of Duluth's March for Science. Joe Haberman has been active with the Duluth Energy Collaboration and is a leader with the local Climate March. And Bill Mittlefehldt is with Minnesota Interfaith Power and Light, one of the organizers of the Climate March. And thanks to all of you for being with us tonight. Really appreciate it. Alex, let's start with you. Sure. Why does science need a march?
Well, we're seeing some big changes in our culture lately, such as climate denial, or not necessarily climate denial, but science denial, and ignoring scientific data just for the sake of separate agendas. And that's one thing that this march is really designed to do, is trying to open up the communication of scientists and to the general public and help improve that communication.
Why, Alex, do you think the public isn't believing science?
Well, I think there's a lot of factors going on with that. We have public figures who are coming out and openly denouncing science, even though they know nothing about it, or that's really the biggest thing that's going on. But also we have a lack of understanding in the greater community of what science is and what that means. And part of that's on scientists for maybe not having the best communication with the public as far as what we do and how we do things.
Now, this is being billed as nonpartisan. Right. But it was organized in response to the new Republican administration at a national level. So isn't that kind of partisan to begin with?
Well, not really. So this is basically about science in general. Yes, maybe we had one of the big sparks was actually gagging the EPA, and as well as several other national scientific organizations. And doing that was essentially a blow to all of science in the country, saying that you cannot communicate what you do, even though that's for the public good. And so this has been something that's been building over the past couple of decades.
You bring up a good point. Joe, maybe you could pick up on that. Science and the public have been clashing for a long while. Why is that? What started it?
Well, I just have to say that I believe that science and the public go very much hand in hand. I think that when you have respect for and when you understand science, that's when you as a democracy really begin to make a sound public policy in the public interest. So I really believe that this issue of science and the validity of science and the embrace of science is very important. I'll give you a couple of local examples. One is that our mayor recently came out with an 80% goal for reduction of greenhouse gas by 2050. She then took a very significant step of taking the steam plant out of coal for the spring and the summer and shift to natural gas. That's going to reduce by 13,000 tons the amount of greenhouse gas this year in the city of Duluth. That's an amazing, wonderful step. It's not perfect, it's not everything that we want, but it's beautiful. It's a great start. And then you've got the polymet mine controversy, and this is a situation that public policy people maybe weren't as open to understanding and embracing and respecting science. There was a push in the community to have evidence and science and research laid on the table, and a really good debate on the part of all sides, and people backed away from that, which I really think, we can still push for it. It's still an open application with the DNR. I think the public should be pushing for that. But these are two examples locally of science being embraced and respected, and science really being abandoned and walked away from.
Mm-hmm. Now, Bill, I understand that you're going to be putting on your sneakers and getting out there for both of these marches, both the March for Science and the Climate March. What is it that motivates you to get out there and take a stand?
Well, tomorrow I'm going to show up with my grandboys because they are showing aptitude for science. And like Joe and Alex mentioned, I think the better they understand what's happening to them, the more leadership and insight they can provide to their democratic communities when they vote for certain policies. So I am going to try and be a good grandparent and raise them to be science informed. On the other hand, we're also very excited about the possibility of the climate march. This will be our third climate march in 3 years in Duluth. And you know, because the last 3 years have been the warmest years on record, that the level of alarm and motivation in the public is actually going way up. So we're delighted that we're very alarmed about what's going on in Washington, D.C. If you've looked at the budget, EPA was reduced by over 30%. Mm-hmm. That's a big cause for concern for those of us who care about the science of our systems and how our interconnected systems help us live in this challenging environment. So we're excited about that because more and more people are showing up at our marches. So we hope Alex has a good turnout. I'm going to be part of that. But we also think that raises the level of public consciousness. And so when we have our climate march, we're going to end up with people signing up for the things that they're interested in doing. And as Joe mentioned, the mayor has offered tremendous leadership by setting this very lofty goal of reducing our climate emissions, greenhouse gases, by 80% by 2050. And just recently, the steam plant, or Duluth Energy, has now claimed that they will, in 1 year, they will reduce the plant emissions by 15%. Well, that's enormous, and I'm not sure, but I think it actually may cost them less to do that.
Sure.
Because they're using natural gas, which is a little cheaper than coal.
Joe, there is so much opinion, anger, and angst on social media. Is social media not helping your cause?
I think it's a mixed bag. I think some help and some don't help. I mean, I think that's true with every issue on social media. I want to say that one of the things about this climate march is that it's a march for climate, jobs, and justice. It's a much larger movement nationally and internationally than just the climate. I think people really see the interrelatedness of these issues. We need jobs and we need equity. We need environmental protection, and we need, a future that our grandchildren can really live in and be healthy and be happy. So I think there are many issues, and you see this on social media, you see this in all kinds of media. People have strong opinions. I really am of the opinion that generally people respect science.
Yeah.
But it does get manipulated, and I think sometimes it gets really misrepresented, and sometimes it gets very much disrespected. So I think that's what we have to do.
Do you see that happening on both sides of the political spectrum?
Well, I think that it is a temptation. I think one of the things that is important to do with all the complex issues that we're looking at, I mentioned a couple of them, is to be able to put out in a very neutral way. Sometimes there are, you can have a neutral judge even that has here's the evidence on different sides of a particular complex situation, and that's a wonderful thing to be able to do, because what you want, what I think we all want, is public policy that is really in the public interest ultimately.
Alex, what do you want this March for Science to accomplish?
Biggest thing that I hope it accomplishes is for improved communication between the public and scientists, and between scientists and our politicians, and good information getting out there and that information being accepted.
Is there a danger that perhaps by having a march like this for science it really politicizes science, and it turns you into just another activist group out there on one end of the political spectrum?
Well, that's something that's actually divided scientists about joining the march or not. Is that they are afraid it's going to politicize it. But unfortunately, because much science funding comes from the government, it's already been politicized. Our politicians are already making decisions about what's going to be funded and what's not going to be funded, and they're not informed about it. And so they have already politicized it. And so now we're going out there and trying to open up those lines of communication to them and say, this is the information, this is how we talk about it. Let's sit down and we can discuss these issues.
So the March for Science, where does it start? What time does it start? Can you give us some of that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So the March for Science is going to start at Leif Erikson Park down at the stage by the lake at 10 a.m. It will have our first speaker come on. And then after that, we'll make our way along the lake walk to the Maritime Museum, and we'll have a couple speakers there, and hopefully ending around noon.
Is that about the same route that the...
Similar, we're starting at Leif Erikson also, and we're ending at Endion Station.
And that would be a week from Saturday?
That's correct, on the 29th.
29th,
Yes, yep.
Now, Bill, you mentioned the danger of funding being lost to the EPA, and why do you think it's important for the federal government to be funding scientific research? Because a lot of that money that flows through the EPA goes to different research projects.
Right, that's an excellent question. Thank you. If you're aware of what's going on with the budget, we're in a chaotic period here. On the 28th, it's going to be a deadline that they have to raise the debt ceiling, which is a big issue within the Republican Party. So a number of departments that are science-based are being cut significantly. This includes the National Institute of Health, the Department of Energy has been significantly cut, and as I said, the biggest cuts alone have gone to the EPA. All those are science-based policy-making tools. So we're concerned in an era where truth is something that the media can distort. We're thinking this is a very urgent situation because we're living in the 6th extinction on Earth, and this is the one that's man-made. And if we miss this opportunity, then it's going to be very difficult for us to regroup in 10, 20 years and start over. It's a threat to all species, so it's not just our community. But in Duluth, people can visualize it because we had that enormous flood in 2012, and I understand the value of the property loss was $100 million for a day-and-a-half event. So we've recovered from that, and we're learning from it. What's exciting is the mayor and the planning department are setting up very aggressive goals for what Duluth can do to reduce our emissions, and the steam plant's already doing that. So these are all science-based things where we're going to measure the results, and that's going to tell us we're making some progress.
Your example leads to my next question. Maybe, Joe, you can answer it. Duluth has been involved in a $5 million contest, an energy savings contest, sponsored by, I think it's Georgetown University.
Right.
How do you think we're doing in that?
Very well.
We are?
Yes. And I think we will continue. There's great commitment in this city, and we can all work together. The mayor has provided some fantastic leadership, and I think all of us in Duluth have many, many things that we can do to support that and to move
When do you find out if we've won?
I'm not sure exactly what
Well, I'd like to chime in and elaborate a little, because Duluth has been doing energy leadership for 10 years, and about 4 years ago, the city joined a state program called Green Step Cities, and now we're one of 112 cities in the state. That team then thought the Georgetown opportunity would be the next challenge, and we're hoping we finish in the top 10. But we tell each other we've already made $5 million, which is the first place prize, in teamwork. And we've got that demonstrated with the mayor, and also now the planning department is coming up with a comprehensive plan. They're putting energy as a high priority for planning what's going to be the energy future for this community. And it's the beginning of another industrial revolution, basically, and some people want to close their door and think it's going to be fossil fuel-based or coal-based. That doesn't make any sense, going back to the policy is shared with science, and that's why we're fans of
I
science.
hate to slam the door on the conversation, but I am getting the wrap. But very quickly, if people want to show up for these marches, what time, and it's at Leif Erikson Park, but what time is yours, what time is yours?
Yeah, 10 a.m. at Leif Erikson Park.
And that's tomorrow?
Welcome to show up. You don't have to sign up. Just come and show your support.
1 to 3 on the 29th.
All right.
Very
All right.
good.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming in and talking with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now, let's dig into our news file archive for a look at what was making news 25 years ago this week.
You can try to steer around them, but inevitably the pothole's appetite for car tires will not be denied. Experts say this season's crop is the worst in years.
This has been a particularly bad year because the two culprits for rough roads, which is really water and weather, they both really were there this year.
It began with last fall's megastorm and continued with a damaging freeze and thaw cycle that has left area streets and highways cracked and pockmarked. This stretch of scenic Highway 61 is already wreaking havoc up the North Shore. Mechanic Joe Berkland says he's already seeing more suspension and alignment problems than usual this year. A typical strut repair job will cost about $300.
As you're going through the potholes, the tire will hit and it's forcing right up on the shock here. And basically your shock is bottoming out and your control arm bushings are taking a good toll on this too.
Keeping up with potholes is expensive for taxpayers too. Duluth and state transportation officials say funds are already stretched to the breaking point.
Quite honestly, we know that if we did have the funding to maintain the roads the way they should in fact be maintained, that there would be far fewer major reconstruction projects in the long term.
And with more than 3,100 miles of roadway to cover in the area, the state DOT has its work cut out during pothole season 1992. Ryan Davenport, KDLH News.
The Marshall Alworth Planetarium on the UMD campus is celebrating its 50th anniversary this year. Now, the planetarium hosts its annual International Astronomy Day this Saturday. The free event is a great chance for the public to learn more about the planetarium and the programs it offers. And here to tell us more is Joshua Wasniewski, program coordinator at the planetarium and an undergrad at UMD studying physics and astronomy. And Joshua, thank you for being here. As we begin, I want to ask, where in the world did you get your love for the stars?
Oh gosh, so many influences. Some of them are the awesome sci-fi movies, and then just other people that I've met along the way.
Mm-hmm. Is it unusual for a university the size of UMD to have a planetarium like the one that we have here in Duluth?
No, there is the Milwaukee Planetarium out in Wisconsin, and then down at Morehead State, there's also a planetarium there. And we get together every year with the Great Lakes Planetarium Association, which will be coming up soon. It will be taking place in Wausau.
Mm-hmm. For people who haven't been to a planetarium, kind of describe the experience for us.
What we try to provide is something that's still grounded on Earth, but at the same time, we want them to see something that's past being grounded, something that is that we can take from the cosmos, from space, and bring it down to them so they can experience with along with their everyday lives.
Mm-hmm.
Is the planetarium used with great regularity here?
Oh yes, we have public shows Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays, and we do public events, I shouldn't say public events, private events for school groups, for anyone that would like a private show, which includes our regular shows, which we do for public and
For a person who's never been in the planetarium, you open the door, what do they see?
Oh, when they first come in, they get to see all our displays that we have of different work that other previous workers and planetarium crewmen have made, and there's then walk into the planetarium and there's the theater.
It appears as a big screen on the ceiling.
Yeah, there's a giant dome, which is the perfect tapestry to paint the picture of what space is and the cosmos. And really, it's hard to label it as space because it's the world around us. We're part of it.
Mm-hmm. I remember, 30 years ago when I was a student at UMD, going into the planetarium and being able to sit there and see all of the stars and all of the constellations, and they could rotate it and move it around for different times of the year. But it looks like there's a lot more going on there these days. Almost like feature films.
Yeah. Yep. That's the newest thing we have there is the feature films, and it's the fisheye lens on a good projector, and it's able to take us through space on these three-dimensional maps that have been created by people from SCIS.
Mm-hmm. Do you get a lot of school groups coming in?
Oh gosh, yes, a lot of them, elementary, middle school, and they come in by the dozens.
Are there certain questions that come to mind that these young kids just really want to know when they come in and see, or certain groups that you like to to be with more than others as far as age groups?
Oh, all are welcome and all are just as exciting. Every single age group has their quirks. It's, you know, the younger ones, you get more of the ahs, but with the younger ones too, you get more of those outlandish questions, and it makes you think like, oh, yeah, no, okay, yeah, no, I got you.
Do you ever get anybody confusing astronomy and astrology? You know,
I've had the comments
because
made
I'm a
like
Pisces, and I.
Yeah, we have people that would say like, oh yeah, I've been reading a lot about astrology, and they mean astronomy.
Right,
The words are quite similar. Of course, what they are is
Do
different.
people still get a chance to peer into the telescope?
We haven't been able to take the public out with the telescope, but as the planetarium is building its employee number and stuff like that, we'll have more opportunities to involve the community in so many different ways than just doing the shows, which we have.
You must get a lot of questions as to what's up there in the night sky. What do you tell people? What can we see in Duluth on a good night?
On a good night, depending on how far you are away from the city, lots of stars for one. Even if you're near Duluth, the stars, and even with a backyard telescope, you can see the rings around Saturn. You can see galaxies, nebulae, all the good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now you're also the home to the Arrowhead Astronomical Society. How big a group is that, and how active is it here in town?
The group is 20 members or so strong, and they, every second Tuesday of the month, they have their meeting at the Marshall W. Alworth Planetarium. And of course, the planetarium and them are quite involved with getting Astronomy Day ready, which is coming up very soon.
Mm-hmm. We've had go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, who typically studies astronomy?
Who typically, anyone with an interest. It's one of those things where there's not a one topic, maybe there's something that hooks you, but when you start getting into it, you realize that all your chemistry classes, your biology classes, all of these different aspects of science, they're all within this realm of the space, which is, kind of astronomy as well. So it opens you up to many things.
Mm-hmm. We were just talking in our last segment about science and the funding of science. Was the space program influential at all to you?
Oh, I think I was a little late for the space program, but NASA, JPL, all of those larger, not corporations, but programs that are pushing us to go to space, to be more aware of what's out there, because as you learn that this place is so big, and it makes you think about where we are, what we're doing.
A few moments ago, you mentioned home telescopes. To your knowledge, are a lot of people using home telescopes? Are they popular today?
They, with the people I'm around, yes. And of course, anyone that sees them, they have an interest. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like you look at it and you're like, huh, what does that do? And then, you get questions from that. And there's quite a bit. I've been down on Canal with the Arrowhead Astronomical Society when they do their public outings, and we'll just have a bunch of telescopes out, and we get tons of people that'll stop by. And sometimes it's people's first time seeing something through a telescope, and just seeing awe in people's faces.
Would I be surprised as to the number of people locally who are really into astronomy?
I think, yeah, it's a I don't want to call it a practice, but it's a humble hobby. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go out and do much.
Popular.
Yeah, definitely. And telescope, pair of good hunting binoculars, and you're set.
Mm-hmm. So you don't have to invest a lot of money to really get into it, or to at least dip a toe into it?
No, definitely starting out, like I said, pair of binoculars or just using your eyes. If you can find like a dark spot 15 minutes away from Duluth, it's amazing what you can see.
Mm-hmm. Astronomy Day coming up. Talk about that.
Okay, so Astronomy Day happens every year, and we've been busy getting it all together. It will go from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and in between it will be chock full of presentations from members throughout the society, of course, Arrowhead Astronomical Society, and we'll have shows going on, which will involve the planetarium workers.
Okay,
as well.
Joshua Wasniewski, thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you stopping by. Thank you.
Good job. It's time for the weekly business news from the folks at Business North. The Minnesota DNR has strongly objected to a plan for Mesabi Metallics to emerge from Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. The company wants to take over the SR mine construction near Nashwauk. The DNR says the company has no plant, no operations, no income, no customer for its ore, and no prospect of income for 2 years. In the court filings, the DNR also said there are no existing shareholders willing to contribute new funds, no binding commitment from its plan sponsor, and no exit financing. A hearing on the reorganization plan is scheduled for next Wednesday.
A new study finds that mining and tourism are both valuable industries for the region. Both have value and can coexist, said Praxis Strategy Group, which did the study. The study says mining jobs remain the cornerstone of northeastern Minnesota's economy, but the Arrowhead region depends heavily on success in both industries. The Arrowhead faces stiff competition from other cities, another part of that survey found. Now, in terms of gross regional product, Duluth lags behind Mankato, St. Cloud, and Rochester.
Canadian National Railroad on Monday will begin the second and final year of a major maintenance and strengthening project on the Oliver Railroad Bridge. The bridge connects Duluth with the village of Oliver in Douglas County. Included in the project are full replacement of the 47-foot-long span on the east end of the bridge, removal of steel cross ties and steel deck that carry the rail tracks, and installation of a new solid timber deck for tracks. Daily road closures are expected to begin Monday and continue into the fall. For more on these and other stories, visit businessnorth.com.
So call now if you have a comment about this week's show. Dial 218-788-2849 to leave a message, or send an email to Almanac North at wdse.org. And you can always go to the WDSE website when you're looking for the latest program information and updates on station events like this weekend's Meet Your Maker event at the Rex in the Fitkers Complex on Saturday. Julie, there's absolutely plenty going on this weekend to keep folks busy if you are looking for something to do.
Yes, and with all the rain, perhaps we'll get a little bit of greening too, so that it'll be more fun to be outside.
I think you're absolutely right. All right, for Julie and the crew here at Almanac North, I'm Dennis Anderson. Hope you have a great weekend. Good night, everybody, and be kind.